Hey, good morning, everybody. We're at day 8 of 31 days of 3-minute devos with Michael Weil, and so glad y'all can join me this morning. Now, yesterday we talked about in chapter 4 of Philippians, in verse 6. Do not be anxious about everything, but with prayer and petition, with thanksgiving. Right? That's what we talked about. With thanksgiving, present your request to God, and the peace of God that transcends all understanding will guard your heart and mind in Christ Jesus. Yesterday, we focused on thanksgiving. With thanksgiving, we thank God even before we know the answer. Well, what does it mean when we read this? And it says, and the peace of God that transcends all understanding. Man, the peace of God. Because when we go and we begin to thank God for everything, now we release it and we put it at the foot of the cross, right, y'all? At the foot of the cross. And this is where I find my peace. I find my peace because I understand that there's nothing that I can do that can bring peace in my life, but only through the blood of Christ, only through his love and the cross. You know, I think one of the bigger issues that we have is that the reason why people don't go to try to find the peace of God because they don't understand what that will bring to them. And it says the peace of God that transcends all understanding. Listen, you have to understand something. Do you want to go to sleep at night? Do you want to be able to deal with things in a better way? Do you want to be able to handle things like you've never handled it before? That's what the peace of God brings. Do you want to be able to go forward and be able to live this life with just a rest that you've never had? That's what the peace of God brings. You see, the peace of God that transcends all understanding. When you stop carrying the load all the time on your own, it brings rest. When you go in and you say, you know what, there's nothing in the world that I could do that will ever separate me from the love of God, that brings rest. It's a peace that he gives us. It's a peace that only he can bring. And my peace, I'm going to be honest with y'all, my peace begins right there on those steps. That's where my peace is. I get on my knees and I pray and I say, God, I can't do this on my own. God, I can't do this without you. Lord, I need you. And I'm going to thank you in advance for all the blessings you're going to give me, that all of a sudden, when I give it all to him and I lay it at his feet, a peace that transcends all understanding begins to guard my heart. It begins to change me. It begins to allow me to know that today, that he has me. That's the peace I want you to have. Hey, this was 3 minutes with Michael. Tomorrow, I'm gonna be pushing the last part of this verse, so I'll see you tomorrow.